documentary remix.
We've been unable to fulfill our commitment due to our singer's drug use. It's got nothing to do with exhaustion or dehydration or sore throat, some of the things you typically hear about, and this is very hard.
How drugs derailed Stone Temple Pilots as Rehab Week continues here on The Remix. Hi, I'm Serena Altschul, and this is MTV's Rockumentary Remix. Drug addiction has become an unfortunate occupational hazard in the music business. All too many bands have been forced to deal with heroin and cocaine in their midst. Some, like Aerosmith, managed to conquer their demons and continue to make music together. For others, like Stone Temple Pilots, the answer's not so clear. First, let's go back to 1996 when STP is still in their heyday, still optimistic that singer Scott Weiland would overcome his drug problem.
Rob and I were born as brothers. Pretzel came along as a little angel, and Weiland just appeared.
I think you have to have an ego to some extent to be able to get up in front of 20,000 people every night and fool yourself that you're going to entertain them.
Since the birth of Stone Temple Pilots in 1990, its members experienced almost immediate full-fledged rock stardom. That included a lot of media attention, much of it harsh. From the beginning, Stone Temple Pilots were thrashed by rock critics for everything from hair color to personal excess to a certain likeness to a certain other band.
That guy makes faces like Eddie Vedder. No way. Eddie Vedder makes faces like this guy.
Despite media bashing, STP sold over 8 million records with their first 2 releases. The contrast between what the press deemed cool and what people wanted to hear was illustrated by the 1994 Rolling Stone Readers Poll. Critics voted Stone Temple Pilots the worst band of the year, while readers gave them Best New Band honors.
Of course it bummed us out, but I think we just eventually just took an attitude like, you know, we're just going to make music and do what we do.
After spending his formative years just outside of Cleveland, Weiland ditched small-town life for the thriving punk scene of Southern California. Meanwhile, in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, the DeLeo brothers were bored with the music scene there, and each made a separate journey to the West Coast.
Weiland and I met at a concert in Long Beach, California, and found out actually we were kind of seeing the same girl. There was a band playing one night. Eric was the loudest out of the band. We just heard drums and we said we got to have that guy. And we just couldn't find a guitar player to complete the project. And I always had my bro on my mind. The way I tell it, they were dead till I got there, you know. Ironically enough, even though I grew up on the West Coast and these guys grew up on the East Coast, we all pretty much had the same musical background. And Weiland, he got really into like a whole other realm of music that, you know, I didn't really experience much with. And the mixtures is as you hear it.
Mighty Joe Young, as they first called themselves, spent most of their time hustling gigs around their home base of San Diego before venturing up north to play LA's rock landmark, the Whiskey. They were quickly noticed and signed to Atlantic Records on April Fool's Day, 1992.
You ready there, Fellini?
Let's go.
I am smelling like the rose that somebody gave me 'cause I'm dead.
Only a few weeks before the release of its major label debut, Mighty Joe Young, the band, were informed that a blues singer in Chicago named Mighty Joe Young owned the rights to the name.
It was just the worst. It was the worst. We went to the library, we looked at everything.
Scott and I were sitting around we were just talking about stickers when we were kids, like banana seat bicycles and skateboards. We were just talking how cool the SCP sticker was, and he was like, "We should do something with those initials," and I just blurted out, "Stereo Temple Pirates," and we called Robert, all excited, and Robert goes, "I don't think I'm so into pirates," and he goes, "What do you think of pilots?" We're like, "Yeah, that's cool." And we called Steve, our manager. He's like, "Well, what do you think of Stone?" And it just came out, Stone Temple Pilots. I can remember being a little kid, and you opened up the album and you looked at every song and you listened to every song, and the whole album had a vibe, and that's what we were trying to create with Core.
Core began creeping up the charts with its first single, Sex Type Thing, which secured heavy radio play and accusations of glorifying date rape.
It was just something really simple. Weiland put himself in the perspective of the idiot-type person, for lack of a better term, who thinks like that and looks at women in that aspect. And you know the lyrics.
I just kind of dress up a little bit, for all you macho type guys that might have misunderstood the song.
It might anger people at first who don't really understand what the song's about or where we come from on certain issues like that. But I think that in general the idea has come about.
Determined to prove themselves even further, the band hit the road, leaping from 500-seat clubs to 5,000 capacity venues as Megadeth's opener. Along the way, Plush was everywhere. Even an impromptu acoustic set inundated the airwaves.
Oh, when the dogs you find her, got time to wait for tomorrow.
The label wanted to put the acoustic version on some form of EP, which we weren't real keen on because that's one song off of an album. There's 11 other songs. We don't want this record to be thought of, as the Plush album.
From Core to Purple, when the remix returns. By summer '93, Stone Temple Pilots were gearing up to tour, but instead of doing big arenas opening for Aerosmith, they opted for the lower-key Barbecue Mitzvah tour.
This is really only our fourth tour, the only time we really had a chance to actually show people what we're about, and we just thought it was a better idea to hit more intimate places.
Normally at a concert you walk away spending probably $50 a person or something. It's more money than people can really afford, so we wanted to keep it low.
For seeing three bands, it's a good show for $15.
STP's concern with affordable concert going and alternative ticket methods continues through today, as well as their concern of treating fans to the type of rock spectacles they were weaned on.
We just kind of wanted to just give something people could leave and really talk about it, Like the Kiss thing, you just got to find ways to keep yourself entertained, whether it's running out with a jock strap on or whatever, you know what I mean? Just to keep yourself entertained.
But the fun of touring began to wane. An incident involving an alleged shoe-throwing fan and Weiland and Robert's angry physical response earned the boys a lawsuit. Meanwhile, their disillusionment with the music industry grew as touring took its toll on them personally.
We should have quit touring after that point. Basically, it felt like all we were doing was making other people money, and with that we had to deal with in some of the media in the last, year really began making supporting that album a job and not fun anymore.
Ironically, in the midst of an antagonistic relationship with the press, STP were on top. By early 1994, the group had collected numerous awards, including a Grammy, 2 American Music Awards, 1 Billboard Award, and the Video Music Award for Best New Artist.
Mostly say thank you to the people that have paid more attention to the music than they have to the media, because that's ultimately what matters the most.